word. But in all seriousness, no, that was sick, Diego. Give me some. I'll give it up to you for sure, because we joked around about it, but he was like, nah, dude, I can't.
And it's a trust, and Leah is the one that it's funny because if you have listened to that episode, she really talks about how it's like therapy for her, for her to get naked in front of a man and not be sexual, And that's, for me, that was when she was saying that, dude, I kind of got teary-eyed because it was damn, I'm actually helping out here. I'm actually healing people out here, It's
true.
I'm holy shit.
I'm very proud to be a part of a generation of, or at least a group of men, maybe not a generation because there's a lot of bullshit going on, but definitely a group of, I'm glad that most of the males that I have in my life are kind of on that same wave, because for the first time ever, I feel like I'm seeing a lot of friends and a lot of people who I consider family having healthy relationships with each other that aren't of the same sex. And I feel like that sometimes is so hard to establish. Oh, you're a guy, I'm a girl, we're friends, without having some weird sexual tension build up and then fucking it all up however you fuck it all up. You know what I mean? I'm definitely very proud of the fact that a lot of us have come past that, and it's look, I'm just very proud of all the male peers that I have in my life right now for being those guys, and for having just simple respect, whenever you shoot with my friend Mitzel, or our friend Mitzel, that's somebody who to me, that's she's like a sister to me, you know what I mean? And same, with Edgar saying, I love you and I'm proud of you because I know
I love you too.
Whenever, you guys are shooting together, I know she's in good hands.
Yeah.
Because we're all, of the same mindset when it comes to stuff like that, and I respect that and I appreciate that, and that's the type of stuff bigger than subcultures, bigger than are you a punk or a skinhead or this and that, what team do you go for, bigger than all of that shit. That's the type of stuff that matters to me. You know what I mean? And
it's like I said, even women have you're shooting OnlyFans, and then they're that gets the stigma for me, and dude, even the fact that I said I won't say it on the podcast because it's super personal, what happened, but I said a story to this girl, and her friend was just that wanted, her friend that was really, I don't know if she likes me or whatever, but I told this personal story about what happened when I was working in LA with a couple of my buddies, and she's looks at me, he's I can't believe you would do that. Not me. So basically, I'll say it, I won't name the person, but basically I got a blowjob by a porn star, and I won't say her name.
That's okay.
But yeah, and she was
at Eddie Alvarez on Instagram.
Eddie Alvarez.
That's me.
But the fact that she was kind of looked at me, and I was dude, I've been I told her, I was yo, it's I've been involved at least in the sex industry for a couple of minutes, and I've seen it, and I've told people about it, and this is I'm and it's funny because the shoot earlier that I did, they were so what turns you on now? You're so desensitized to seeing naked women all the time, or seeing naked men.
With clothes?
What? I was an emotional connection.
Wow. Straight up, dude. Look at this guy. I like watching Poetic Justice with my girl, and then we cuddle, and that's it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Straight,
cuddle machine, bro. I'm serious. I'm just over here. If you're dropping lines oh, you see a shirt, you're yo, I like cruel intentions too. I like coffee and TV, and ooh, you're dropping the right lines. You're dropping the right lines, girl.
That's some grown up shit right there. Because when you're young, you're you know what's tight? Two girls kissing each other. Yeah. And you're you know what's tight? watching movies that I used to like when I was a little kid and hold on to me, girl.
Little spoon. Girl, can you be big spoon, please? Please. I actually, you know what? That's one of those things that I really, if there's anything that I miss is the conversation with my ex. And, you know, it's that. Dude, being able to have a conversation, you know, like we would take trips to like a Vegas and we can talk the whole 5 hours there and the whole 5 hours back.
Bro, that's
insane.
In relationships like that, it's always interesting because you forget that you're with someone who might as well be your best friend.
Yeah.
You know, those are the moments and times like that make that stuff hard to go on from.
And sometimes, like I've had my high school sweetheart, who I say is like kind of like my best friend, who we still talk and hang out. Maybe we're meant to not be in a relationship, and we're meant to be friends, and that's okay. That's okay, dude. Because like, you know, me going forward, like I'll find somebody that is equal, as much as her, or even more. Mm-hmm. You know,
I get that.
And that perspective of like also like learning to somebody, and also like you have to realize like everybody has a fucking past, dude. Yeah. Everybody has a fucking past. So like if you are fucking like being grossed out of like, I've heard I said this the other day because some guy and some girl were like, I don't want like there's a fly in this and blah 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 like. And I was at a restaurant, like a fly just touched my food, and I was like, "Girl, like you're afraid of a fly touching your food, but you're not afraid of your fucking boyfriend that's probably fucking got his dick sucked and fucking fucked maybe like 6 or 7 raw girls in with no condoms on, and you don't mind sucking his dick." It's like,
right?
I'm just being honest, you know. Yeah. Like, you know, you talking about one fly lying on your food, and it's like, girl, you're gross. You're grosser than the fly.
Yeah. There you go, dude. Like,
I got a joke for you. Yeah. A Canadian, an American, and a Mexican walk into a bar, and 3 flies fall into all their beers. The Canadian sends it back and says, "May I please have another one?" The American picks it out and then leaves because he doesn't want to pay for the beer anymore. The Mexican takes the fly out, pats it on the back, and says, "Cop that fucking beer, you motherfucker."
Give me that shit back, fool. This fool thinks he's drinking for free and shit.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying flies in the drink it's not the most disgusting. It's not the most disgusting thing in the world, which it is, dude. It fucking is. But it's just like, if you're like, bro, like if you're like, hey, dude, like if you're like, hey, you know, I apologize, there's a fly landed on my food, or like it's still there, then I'll be like, girl, come on, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, dude. Like, yeah, I know that we grew up in the.
I know
your parents are like swatting the flies. It's like they step there and they're like, well, you know, it happens, whatever, you know.
If you ain't never been to the Carnes Island, how to do one of these moves, the hand wave,
you're like that.
Just fuck out of here, you.
Yeah, dude.
Like you privileged ass fool, you fucking chipster, dog. You're a chipster.
Actually, you know, it brings me back right now, just thinking about it. But we took my dad to Rosarito, like when he was going through all the cancer stuff. To pick up, that was Ensenada, my bad. We took him to Ensenada to pick up this like medicine that he was taking to help him with the cancer. And you know, he's like, man, I feel like eating something, but I don't know what, because my dad was trying to be super healthy and like eat green and like, you know, I don't know who got in his head about you gotta stay green, eat green, whatever. And he was like very stubborn about it. He didn't want to eat nothing but salads and just fruits or whatever. So then we were coming back and we hit TJ, and like on the way back, you know, there's a fucking Burger King, and then, you know, he's like, you know what? I wish I could have a burger. And I was like, fuck this. I pulled over and I fucking went in, and we're sitting there, my dad's looking at the burger, and this stupid fly just like getting up, flying around, and my dad's just going like this, and it just keeps touching his food, and my dad was like, I haven't had a burger in a long time. He was about to bit on it. He was the happiest he's probably been in like a good 4 months or something, and then just like he didn't give a fuck about the fly, you know, the fucking burger, dude. You know what I mean? The fact that he was enjoying a burger for the first time in like all these months, He was like, fuck it, I don't care. You know, it was amazing.
That's perspective, bro. Sometimes those, you know, when you're sitting at, you know, a hipster restaurant, wherever it might be, whatever gentrified neighborhood, and someone's
Echo Park.
Yeah, shout out to Echo Park.
They have $1.8 million homes now at Echo Park.
Shout out to Hillcrest. Shout out to North Park. Shout out to.
But anyway,
you know, when you're sitting there and you're complaining about a fly in your food because you're used to a certain way of being treated, I'm used to the customer always being right and my life being, you know, a high priority and my taste being a high priority. It's such a crazy different experience from someone who knows that this might be the last time I eat a fucking hamburger.
Yeah.
This and because of that, and you know, sitting here with my son, you know, I couldn't imagine being a father. If I'm 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, and I was sitting there having, you know, like I said, the last hamburger I could have with my son. That's such a small thing. Yeah. That I take for granted all the time, you know what I mean?
It's all a mental perspective because you don't see it that way.
If that was that moment, and I kind of knew in my mind that was that moment, there's no fly that could fucking bother me doing that. There's no fly that's not, or no anything that's not going to make that the best hamburger ever because, because exactly that. Like, I'm with my boy.
I think that's kind of how it was too. Because now that I think about it, he didn't want to make a fuss. He didn't want to nothing. He was just like, I'm going to enjoy this burger. And I told him, I was like, Dad, if I told you that you could eat whatever the fuck you want, what would you want to eat right now? And he said, the burger. And I said, then eat the fucking burger. It's not that big of a deal. You know? Because he kept saying like, oh, the doctors told me not this and that. And I'm going like, dude, eat the fucking burger. At that point, we already knew my dad had 6 months to live. So I kept telling my dad, enjoy yourself. Eat the fucking burger.
Indulge.
Eat what the fuck you want to eat, dude. Don't, you know? That shit does fuck, man. That shit brings me back. God damn.
It's crazy, dude. And I mean, like, I know what you're feeling because, like, you know, my grandpa was kind of like my dad and shit. When my dad was like being a fuck boy and shit. And
I beat his grandpa.
Hey, the Don fool, the punk Don fool.
Yep, titty scoops,
titty scoops to the max.
Yo, quick side note: you and Mikey titty swooping your grandpa used to be the most hilarious thing to me.
Oh man, I don't know the grandpas. I don't know.
We would be at shows, bro. They would be like, "Oh, swoop." He didn't get the joke. He'd be like, "What the fuck you guys doing?" Like, anyway, let's proceed.
And my grandpa getting drunk and being the funniest drunk in the whole world.
He was great, man.
He was cool, and you know, kind of seeing it's fun. It's crazy because you say about your dad, and I went through it, dude, and you know, like the craziest thing, and I don't think I've ever seen in an episode or whatever, but I don't want to make you cry. I mean, I will.
I'm pretty easy to make cry. All the shit that is happening.
You know what? Like I remember came in because we did Memento, and if you ever oh no, not Memento, Magnolia. If you ever never seen Magnolia, I really, it's funny because like rewatching that movie, I wasn't really like paying attention to a lot of shit, but like the first thing that came up was like the hospice nurse, and that was like the whole thing because it was like a hospice. And when I came back from work, the nurse was like, "Hey, dude, like I need to talk to you." I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "Hey, just so you know, I saw your grandpa's feet today, and like not to scare you or your grandma, but
because they're like purple or whatever."
Yeah, they're like
there's no blood flow.
He's like they're purple, so he might die today, he might die tomorrow. Just be prepared.
You guys hear that?
Right.
Fucking Diego, the chair. I'm like, what the fuck is that noise? I thought it was like a drop. I was
like, yo, flew you at edibles or what?
What's going on here? What did you drink? No, yeah, so they told you?
And he told me, and I remember I was just like, oh man, like fuck, this sucks. And I remember it was the day before Valentine's Day.
And my mom is, wait, that's when they told you?
Yeah.
You're gonna trip right now.
And so a day before Valentine's Day, and I was like, fuck, so I remember just like laying, like my grandpa had a full-on hospital bed. So I remember just laying next, like just sitting next to my grandpa and